Hi, I'm Anthony F. Elmore in downtown Memphis on the mighty Mississippi River, bringing you another hot and fiery Black Memphis History lesson. Let me put Black Memphis history in context for you. Robert R. Church Sr. was born a slave in 1839 in Holly Springs, Mississippi. Memphis was founded by Andrew Jackson in 1819. During the Civil War, Church was dropped off in Memphis at 23 years old in 1862. We told you about Robert R. Church Sr., who became a philanthropist and the South's first black millionaire. Now, his daughter, Mary Church Terrell, was born in 1863, and she was personally trained by Fredrick Douglass, and she became one of the founders of the NAACP. Now, in 1910, E.H. Crump was elected mayor of Memphis. Now, let's talk about Robert R. Church Jr., born in 1885, whereas he and his sister both attended Oberlin College in Oberlin, Ohio, that was founded in 1833. Now, it became one of the first colleges in America to admit African Americans. You see, now, Robert R. Church Sr. died in 1912. Now, after graduating college, Robert R. Church Jr. got a job working on Wall Street. Now, his father, Robert R. Church Sr., died in 1912. Robert R. Church Jr. was 27 years old, came back to Memphis to take care of his father's holdings. Please note that at the same time, Memphis had elected E.H. Crump mayor in 1910. Now, Robert R. Church Jr. came back in 1912, whereas he had to battle toe-to-toe with E.H. Crump. Note that W.C. Handy came to Memphis in 1909. Understand that E.H. Crump in 1909 hired W.C. Handy to write a campaign song that was originally titled Mr. Crump. The song was later titled Memphis Blues, and it became the first copywritten blues song in the world. Now, later on, Handy wrote, Handy was credited as the father of the blues. Now, when he came to Memphis, Robert R. Church had died 2 years later in 1912. Now, the year of 1912 was the sunset of Robert R. Church Sr., and who used his wealth to historically empower not only Black Memphis, he empowered Black America, whereas he was a major philanthropist. Now, whereas Church Park and Auditorium was the largest Black cultural and entertainment center in the world, 1912 brought to Memphis 27-year-old Robert R. Church Jr., who would also leave a legacy of his own. Crump ran Church Jr. out of Memphis. Church Jr. tried to influence Memphis via his friend Dr. Martin, who owned the Memphis Red Sox black baseball team. Crump used law enforcement to frisk customers coming into his business, and he ran the Martins out of Memphis. This is what you must understand. During the time of Robert R. Church Sr., Memphis had integrated communities. E.H. Crump made sure there were not only no integrated communities, E.H. Crump carried out the will of Nathan Bedford Forrest. By the end of 1940, E.H. Crump not only purged successfully the Shelby County Republican Party of its strong black leadership, E.H. Crump purged Black Memphis out of any history of strong black leadership. He used tax laws to take the property and wealth from Robert R. Church. Significantly, E.H. Crump removed the history of Robert R. Church from Memphis. They changed the name of Church Park and Auditorium to Bill Avenue Park and Auditorium. E.H. Crump put the nail in the coffin when the city purposefully burned down the Robert R. Church home. The E.H. Crump burning down of the Robert R. Church home was a significant act of white supremacy and racism in Memphis. Let us go back to a statement that E.H. Crump made to the Memphis World newspaper editor. Quote, "You have a bunch of niggers teaching social equality, stirring up racial hatred. I'm not going to stand for it. I've dealt with niggers all my life, and I know how to treat them. This is Memphis," unquote. There was a group of conservative black supporters of E.H. Crump called the Black Democratic Club, headed by Dr. J.E. Walker. If you want to understand Black Memphis, Tennessee today, then you must understand Black Memphis of yesterday. You see, there existed two schools of thought in Memphis, Tennessee. Robert R. Church Sr. and Robert R. Church Jr. fought and accomplished economic and social equality in Memphis. Robert R. Church went toe-to-toe challenging E.H. Crump. Dr. J.E. Walker, who founded Mississippi Boulevard Christian Church, and E.H. Crump was the person who ordained Dr. J.E. Walker and the conservative blacks as the leaders in the black community. Like one example is Reverend Blair T. Hunt, who is a principal at Washington High School. Tri-State Bank was founded in 1946, is an example of blacks who succeeded with the blessings of E.H. Crump. You see, the Ford family was the result of a relationship with E.H. Crump. E.H. Ford was named after Crump, implemented terror on blacks in Memphis, using police to terrorize Dr. Martin, and Dr. Martin was forced to leave Memphis. With courage and resolve, Robert R. Church Jr. was run out of Memphis and sacrificed everything to come back. In fact, in 1916, Church founded the Lincoln League that he founded and he financed in Memphis. Also, he worked to increase voter registration and participation in voting by black city residents. In 1917, it was Robert R. Church who organized the Memphis branch of the National Association of the Advancement of Colored People, or NAACP. It was the first branch in the state of Tennessee. 2 years later, Church was elected to the National Board of Directors for the NAACP in recognition of his growing national influence. His Lincoln League provided the swing votes that propel Republicans to victory in several Memphis and Shelby County elections. National GOP party officials acknowledged his leadership by consulting him on federal patronage in the region. In other words, people who got jobs from the federal government, it was Robert R. Church Jr. who they consulted to give certain jobs. Church visited Memphis in 1952 after attending the Republican State Convention in Nashville to campaign for
presidential candidate, General Dwight D. Eisenhower. While discussing politics with friends, 64-year-old Robert R. Church Jr. died of a heart attack on April 17, 1952. Eisenhower did become our president. Our father, our friend, and our family, Robert R. Church, could not live long enough to help Memphis. It pains my heart that our family, Robert R. Church, the last African American to practice black economic equality, died. The chosen black leader was Dr. J.E. Walker, who ran the NAACP, and the appointed H. Crump, black leader, who Crump had chosen.
I'm Anthony F. Elmore in downtown Memphis on the mighty Mississippi River, bringing you another hot and fiery Black Memphis history lesson.